the position of photography as a medium of cultural heritage. The two major goals are to build up the first large-scale public access and participation-oriented collection of digitalized photographs, which are owned and created by a group of museums and archives in Hamburg, and to employ state-of-art concepts and technologies for interactive content delivery and the crowdsourcing of digital content, as well as the event-focused commentaries and narratives that help us to understand how we make sense of a particular event and objects that we encounter in the public domain. But the question is, how can a photo provide the technology, the conceptual and thematic features, as well as the infrastructure in order to reach these goals? One of the crucial factors of our project is the theoretic framework based on Niklas Luhmann's idea of culture as a pool of topics. Luhmann's understanding of culture allows the reflection of historic realities and a meta-reflection of how these subjects are discussed in society. So, for Luhmann, the production of culture is not only the reproduction of a given social and historical context, but also a reflection on the reflection on culture. So, in other words, it enables us to engage in a meta-reflection. This theoretic framework is closely linked to the pragmatic approach of a photo, the user-oriented implementation concept, and the network between different cultural stakeholders. A photo is not about to set up another sharing platform for images and selfies, just like Instagram or Pinterest or something, but rather to transform photography into an accessible cultural artifact after Luhmann. So a photo motivates users to see themselves as content creators. Photography becomes an occasion for cultural communication and reflection over the question, how does culture work? So, with regard to the technical challenges, the starting point for us is to build up an image database. A photo cooperates with different public and private stakeholders. As a big data application for stock data in public services, a photo implements the political goal of open governments and open access, which signify a new transparent and open administration-based cooperation. As you can see on this slide, on the bottom there are the cultural institutions, as I said, so for example the Museum of Work, the Police Museum, the State Archive, and there are over 16 cultural institutions. And in their archives and databases there are over 2 million of photos of any kind of topic, time, and event, mostly about Hamburg, but yeah. As a first step, a survey concerning the digitalization standard will be conducted among the cooperation institutions. So, as you can see, the cloud is mainly the image database, and on the technological level, a photo wants to implement a combination of a mobile application and a web portal. So every cultural stakeholder has an access to the platform, which allows not only to manage and to back up data, but also to share them with other stakeholders, as you can see here in the green box. But as I said, the database is only the starting point. A photo is not just about digital archiving. Rather, we think of digitalization of images and their provision via digital modern media as an enabler which opens up new possibilities of cultural practice. A photo wants to provide access for everyone who's interested in culture. We think of a photo mobile application and the web portal as an interface between users, that means content creators, after Luhmann, and cultural stakeholders that allows the user to play with data by creating a new cultural experience. Here you can see a prototype mock-up of the user mobile application. In order to meet the requirements, a photo aims to develop a mobile application which invites users not only to access to the huge supply of images, but also to comment, augment, compare, and discuss the delivered content. Consequently, a photo gives the opportunity to share one's images and comment and enrich the database. So, summing up, a photo on the one hand wants to combine the idea of open governments, including open access to archive material. On the other hand, its usability and interactivity should raise enthusiasm for taking part in cultural practice. The variety of the different stakeholders, as well as the work-in-progress approach of the digital infrastructure without normalized taxonomy is a special feature of the ePhoto project. Yeah, so thank you for your attention. That was really a short. Yeah.
Perfect. So we have 3 or 4 minutes for questions. Great.
Thanks. Oops. I still didn't get really the idea what the great difference is between that platform and, you named them, there are many other platforms for sharing and also commenting on pictures. So it is to be a cultural experience and the users have to feel like contributors. Well, that is what Instagram claims as well. So I really didn't get where the big difference is with uploading new photos. To get the access to the old heritage photos, okay, that's a different point, of course.
So, as I said, so the first step is to build this image database. So I think it's a different point to have an access to this cultural heritage that's in the archives of the museums. I think Instagram don't give that kind of photos, and so it's really like getting to the past and the present and the future. So I think that's the main difference between Instagram and ePhoto.
Corinne.
You said that most of the pictures are from around Hamburg. I would be interested in knowing if they are also from further around in the area, and if there is some kind of instruction for people to what kind of annotations do you want, what kind of enrichment?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. So maybe the first question. So the pictures are about Hamburg because the cultural institutions are mostly in Hamburg, and they have their archives about Hamburg or the history of Hamburg mainly. So and the other question about the so we want to implement. So we hope to implement so like social tagging and social annotation and social storytelling. So for us, it's really important to have the users as content creators and to create or to tell their small stories. Just like they have a building in Ottensen. Ottensen is a district in Hamburg, and you see it like in the 60s, and you see it now, and maybe you tell the story about that. So yeah, that's a photo.
Okay, so you're trying to not scare them away from something academic, but invite them to
exactly.
share. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Rebecca. Thank you.